Welcome back, everybody. We are live. We're running a little late. You
A
know,
little. We is behind tonight.
we're running just a little bit late, just a little bit late.
Technical. Y'all know we love
We got some
technology.
technical difficulties. But today we got for y'all some good stuff. We got Joe Rogan getting lied to by a Christian Democrat. We got Alex O'Connor, who's a pretty known atheist.
Mhm.
Uh, that we're gonna watch a video about him, and then we got Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he is a scientist, and he's also an atheist too. And so he's definitely misquoting and misunderstanding the character of God. So let's dive into these three videos. So let us start with the first clip.
What's the date of Jesus' death? The synoptics say that it was on the Passover. John has it before the Passover.
So there's a long, convoluted answer to that. It's how they use idioms in the language. I don't want to get into that
What
right now.
time did Jesus die?
So I don't want to
Mark
get in.
says that it's 9 in the morning. John explicitly tells us that he's still standing before Pilate at midday.
So here's the thing. I'm going to grant you contradictions.
Mhm.
Is that not what we would expect to see from people recording real events?
Not on these matters, I think.
Why not?
Now, I've made this argument myself. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe we'd expect people to sort of misunderstand the points. But if it's clear that the reason why John is putting the death of Jesus before the Passover is to present him as the Passover lamb, then I think we have reason to suspect that it's been done on purpose. In other words, if we can explain why these contradict each other because the authors have different intentions, I think that proposes a better hypothesis as to why they contradict.
So specifically on Jesus' day, I don't have off the top of my head. I know there's an explanation for that, and maybe we could talk later and I could show it to you, but I don't have the top of my head for
Okay,
that.
when Jesus is on the cross, there are two thieves next to him, right?
You get the gist of that?
Yeah, I do. I get the gist. Start with your perspectives. I'm interested to hear what you think.
Well, first of all, we have to talk about that first part that he misquoted when he was talking about the account of Mark. He was saying that Mark has Jesus dying.
Midday? Is that what he said?
No, he was saying that he was saying that Mark died. That he has Mark dying. Jesus dying in the 6th hour, and he's saying that. So he had one person has him dying early, and one person has him dying late. So he's actually misquoting this. It's not that he was saying that Jesus had died at 6 a.m. or anything like that, right? So you have John. John is showing them that, hey, the trial of Jesus starts at 6 a.m., right? So the Roman trial started at 6 a.m. and it led through noon. So you have one person who's giving their perspective, which is John. He's saying the trial started at noon, right? Started at 6 a.m. And then you have Mark, who talks about the account of crucifixion, which was at the 3rd hour, right? And the 3rd hour is 9 a.m., which is what he was just quoting. He was quoting, so he's saying Jesus died at 9 a.m., while the rest of them are saying he died at 3 p.m. But it doesn't say he died. He says, Mark quotes that Jesus was crucified at 9 a.m., crucified at 9 a.m., which means this is the start time. This is the started time when they put him up on the cross. This wasn't the time that he actually passed away, right? They all agree to the same thing, that Jesus passed away around 3 p.m. ish, right? But you have given their own perspectives. John giving you the trial starts at 6 p.m. 6 a.m. Leading up to noon, leading up to 3 p.m., which is the death of Jesus. Then you have Luke, who doesn't give you a start time. He just tells you Jesus passes away at 3 p.m. And then you have Mark, who says the crucifixion starts at 9 a.m. and Jesus passes away at 3 p.m. And also Matthew says the same thing. It says it happened before noon. So he doesn't give a specific time when it started, but he says that the crucifixion started before noon, right? He doesn't give a specific time, but he still says that Jesus passed away at around that 3 p.m. mark. So they all agree to the same thing when he actually passed away, which is 3 p.m. not 9 a.m. and when one says 12, and then one says 2, one says 1. None of that. They're all agreeing to different starts because they have different perspectives, right? But the end time is the exact same, which is around 3 p.m.
Call me dense, call me not unintellectual, unintelligent, but this is why I'm not a scholar.
Yeah.
This is essentially why I'm not a scholar, because personally, what does it matter? And I say this because to me, I feel as though the non-believer, no matter what the belief system is, the perspective is always to hyper focus on some minute detail that serves as some type of anchor for your disbelief, right?
Yeah.
And in that anchor, you look foolish because man is, and this is not what I'm saying about the gospel, but I'm just saying in general, man is subject to mistake, failure, misquoting, all of these things. So let's just give it to him and say, oh, again, this is not for a factual basis, but let's just give it to him and say, if someone did misquote, if someone did not remember, if someone did say this, can you see me?
No, you're kind of
Can you see me?
like, yeah, I can see you, but you're lagging.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're not lagging anymore.
Can you hear me? Like, am I good? I'm good. You can hear me?
Yeah, you're not lagging. Go ahead.
You're lagging a little bit. That's why I was asking. But yeah, so let's just say that there are some misquotes in this, and that away from the Bible and any type of piece of evidence, right? We have to take away our need for intelligence. We need to be the smartest in the room. We need to get down to the very minute detail, or we don't believe in anything. And this is the issue with our society in general. Is there echo or something?
No, go ahead.
Is there echo? Okay. This is the issue that I believe our society has in general. We don't stand on anything as human beings anymore. We have a lack of purpose, a lack of understanding, and a lack of faith, because we deep dive into such minuscule things to where our heart is hardened based on one detail being off. We just don't believe in anything. We don't have a passion for this, or we don't want to do that anymore. We're very fickle. And so
Yeah.
in this instance, of course, we understand that these are different interpretations, or different remembrances of what actually happened, and they're not contradictions at all. We can see that that serves in this context, but I really do think that we need to touch grass sometimes when it comes down to what it is you are going to abide by, what is your moral compass, what is it that you believe in, and what is it the purpose that you're going to serve on this earth as a human being. Because when you start asking more dynamic questions, when you start asking things that are from a macro perspective versus a micro perspective, you find that things are not as um, nitpicky as people make them. And I think that that's majority of the non-believers argument. It's always some type of nitpick. Oh, got you here, got you there, got you there. It's like tedious and very immature sometimes, because it's
Yeah.
like, if you're going to deny Christ, if you are going to deny Jesus Christ as God, if you're going to deny the existence of God when we are floating mid-space, right? At a perfect degree, at a perfect angle, you're going to deny Christ and say that when sperm and an egg come together and they have a baby, that just miraculously happens. Two things come together and a baby is formed, and we just don't know why or how. Science proves it, right? Like, we just these things come together and boom, there it is. You can deny God, but if you deny God, I want to see a real argument. And that's what I think. I think that it's disingenuous because they don't really offer an argument that stands on anything. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
That's
Let's
really my opinion.
let's break it down, because I see a few people join. Look, and I think that they missed it. So let's break it down really quick, one by one. So let's rewatch it really quickly.
Okay.
What's the date of Jesus' death? The synoptics say that it was on the Passover. John has it before the Passover.
So there's a long, convoluted answer to that. It's how they use idioms in the language. I don't want to get into that
What
right now.
time did Jesus die?
So I don't want to
Mark
get in.
says that it's 9 in the morning. John explicitly tells us that he's still standing before Pilate at midday.
So here's the thing. I'm going to grant you contradictions.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not what we would expect to see from people recording real events?
Not on these matters, I think.
Why not?
I've made this argument myself. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe we'd expect people to sort of misunderstand the points. But if it's clear that the reason why John is putting the death of Jesus before the Passover is to present him as the Passover lamb, then I think we have reason to suspect that it's been done on purpose.
Why?
In other words, if we can explain why these contradict each other because the authors have different intentions, I think that proposes a better hypothesis as to why they contradict.
So specifically on Jesus' day, I don't have off the top of my head. I know there's an explanation for that. Maybe we could talk later and I could show it to you. But I don't have the top of my head for
Okay,
that.
when Jesus is on the cross, there are two thieves next to him, right?
I was talking about right there. When he's talking about the contradiction between what Mark recorded and the contradiction between what John recorded, right? It's not a contradiction because they're agreeing on an indefinite date and an indefinite time, which is when did Jesus pass away? They all agreed that Jesus passed away between the hour of 3 p.m. The only difference is the start time because they have different perspectives. For example, Luke just goes into saying that he knows that he saw Jesus crucified and that he died around 3 p.m. Right? So he doesn't give a start time. So as Mark gives a start time, he's saying Jesus was crucified at 9 a.m. But Alex O'Connor is taking this as Jesus died at 9 a.m. No, Jesus was still alive. When they put him on the cross and they started the crucifixion at 9 a.m., he was still alive at this hour. So he's misunderstanding that crucified doesn't mean I don't think he actually understands what crucifixion means. It's not like a beheading or anything like that where they just do it and then it's over. That's not what happens. A crucifixion, they purposely are torturing you. So they put you on the cross, hold you up, and you have to pass away. You don't just automatically die when they put you on the cross. So he's misunderstanding what crucified means. When Jesus was put on the cross, Mark is recording that this started at 9 a.m. and he passed at 3 p.m., which is not a contradiction to John. John is saying that Jesus was still alive around midday, which would be, in fact, because midday we could say is somewhere between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m., right? So that it's not a contradiction. So if he's saying he's still alive at midday, it's not a contradiction because they both said that he passes away around 3 p.m., which would be a little bit after midday, right? So it's not a contradiction. He's just misunderstanding when Mark is saying Jesus is being crucified at 9 a.m. This just means he was placed on the cross for everyone to see at 9 a.m. He's not dead yet. So it's a contradiction. This is what happens when, like you said, when you look too deep into it and you're trying to find a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this and say, well, this exact word does not this, that. Like you're overthinking it.
Like if we were to take a step back from me and you having this conversation right now, do you really see how insane this sounds? Like, honestly, I'm not being funny. I'm just being for real. I think that I'm very sick and tired, not because of people's curiosity. God tells you to ask. He wants you to know. I'm not saying that you can't study these things and you can't know the Greek version and the Hebrew version and the time frames and the time span and the locations and the geography. I'm not saying that you should know these things. They're beautiful things to know. The more we know about God, the better, right?
Yeah.
But if you really take a step back and look at this, I'm sick and tired of people. I am. Because if it takes a time period from a man is stating Jesus resurrected. His body we've never seen his dead corpse. No one can attest that he existed. We have so many scholars who have went down the rabbit hole of trying to disprove the resurrection and fell into faith. With all of these dynamics, we have a whole Christian movement. The entire church that exists today is standing on the foundation of Christ's resurrection. And with all of that information and understanding, I want to hear a disproval of the resurrection, which you're not going to find, or I want to see a skeleton, or I want to see this, or I want to see that. I'm sick of these dumb conversations, in my opinion, of what time at the exact hour, because at this time the Ethiopian calendar says this and that and this and that, and y'all, it's just being honestly ridiculous.
Facetious. It's being facetious.
Ridiculous. Are you joking? Your faith in God, your faith and your belief system is based on if this happened at this time or not. When we know it happened, it did happen. But if it happened at 12 and not at 10, like you said, I just don't believe. I don't believe. I can't believe it.
It's a silly cop out. That's all that it is. It's a silly cop out.
We give scholars and interpreters and intellectuals and deep diving atheists and any type of questioning of disbelief that's not done in a righteous manner when it comes down to a place of love or gaining a knowledge. We give that stuff, even as believers, as Christians, we give that stuff too much power. We want to disprove them because they're ruffling our feathers. We want to disprove them because you're saying big words and you're making me feel like I don't know nothing. So now I need to go and figure out what time he actually did. And so instead of me working on my relationship with God, instead of me investing my time to see why my heart posture is here, or why my faith is a bit weary here, or Lord, how can I sustain this trial, or Lord, how can I be better and more aligned with you to help gain more souls for your kingdom, instead of focusing on that stuff, you know what I'm doing as a believer? I'm going to research how to disprove Alex O'Connor. That pissed me off. You don't know. Like, they're trying to do like distraction things to where you're falling into these traps and these rabbit holes, like the guy who was defending his faith. I don't find anything wrong with it because that was the position he's in. But all I'm saying is he has to run backwards. He's trying to talk to him about his faith, or he's trying to explain to him something. But it's like, what about this question? What about this? What about this? What about this? You don't want to hear me. He's
trying to debunk him with something that's very minuscule.
Right. But if you can't prove to me right now in this conversation.
Yeah. The big picture is Jesus resurrected, right? Why are you focused on why are you focused on if he passed away at 3:01 or 3:25? Is it still 3 o'clock?
You should really question that. You should really question what they tell you. You should really question the contradictions in your doctrine. Like, to me, now I'm starting to feel like you believe. If we have a conversation,
look. That's what he said. He said, I think they know in secret.
Listen, I'm starting to feel like you believe or something. Because if you don't hear me, if you went to the store at 10 a.m. this morning and you say, yeah, I got back around 10:30 and I go check them cameras and you got back at 10:25, then we need to go ahead and start figuring out some dynamics in our relationship, because I don't trust you. Like, now I'm starting to feel like
it's illogical.
I can catch him in something.
It's illogical.
It's illogical, but then it's also so childish and petty that we don't really understand how to come above it, because you think to yourself, they couldn't be this petty. They got to be really onto something, because when they say they hide things in plain sight, it's like, if I'm so like mentally disturbed and like so like anti-belief and stuff, but I will go and I study your Bible so deeply so that I can disprove it, I'm starting to question motives. Like, I think you want me to prove Christ to you, but what you don't understand, that I don't think that when people are trying to defend what they don't know to say, or what they're like too prideful to say sometimes, is whatever you're trying to get from me is not an information problem. It's a heart problem. You can read that Bible front to back. You can go and you can flip through them pages and do hums and sing a song. And if it's not in your heart, even Jesus said they will not understand. Exactly. You don't understand because you're not seeking righteously. If you really wanted to know, the whole thing with Alex is like, I don't believe, but prove this to me. No, I'm not about to fall into no rabbit holes with you. I'm not about to run on this hamster wheel with you. And it's not about your salvation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not debating your salvation. I want you to be saved. I want you to know God. But also, I think as believers, we have to understand what it means to like kick dust off your feet and keep it moving, because sometimes they want to waste your time and they want to do like some type of embarrassment to where you feel like oh my gosh, I didn't know. But what I've learned through my embarrassment, y'all, because I've been embarrassed before, because I had to really dig in after this. You know, I don't really have my moments where it's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know your own doctrine. And even in those embarrassing moments, we have to realize as believers that this is not about me. If anything, I'm trying to help you find salvation. So really, the person who should be in the most vulnerable position is you, because your salvation is at stake, not mine, because I misquoted something, or because I didn't know this verse, or because I don't remember this as a human being.
And what they don't understand is, like, for example, like Alex O'Connor, right? What people like him don't understand is, if you're right and I'm wrong, guess what I lose? Nothing.
Nothing.
But if I'm right and you're wrong, Alex O'Connor, I gain everything and you lose everything. So why would I even want to play that game? Why would I want to play that game, right? To say, well, let me be so skeptical because I don't know, even though he's promising me eternal life, but I just don't believe it. So I'd rather go over here and choose nothingness. But if I'm wrong, then I get nothing anyway.
Now you get something. If you wrong, you get something. It ain't what you want, but you get something. And I truly, I really do. This may be a lighter view, but I think that in reality, we really have to learn, speaking for myself, we really have to learn how to decipher from someone who is truly seeking than someone who's trying
truly trolling.
to troll you. That's what they're trying to do. They troll us all the time. Jesus isn't real. All right.
Exactly.
And you can't get mad about that, because you have to stand firm in the fact that you understand truth and you're actually privileged. Malik just taught me that. Like, it's no reason for you to get upset, because you are the privileged one. Some people aren't as privileged as us, y'all. Like, some people don't have truth. Yeah, like some people don't have truth and they're following doctrine that they don't even know what it says. Like, if you see some people on these, like, YouTube is a great source to see like other people's perspectives and what they believe in. And when they read the words that come out of their own doctrine, they don't even know what they say. They are surprised.
Yep, exactly.
You should feel so confident in the fact that even if you don't know every single word in the Bible, which you should, y'all got to know y'all word. But even if you don't, God is not a God to lie. Ain't nobody going, even if you feel like they done swindled you, either they're misquoting, they're taking it out of they're taking it in the wrong interpretation, or they're just bluntly lying.
Yeah,
but
which most
God
of the time
is not a God to lie.
Most of the time,
can't nobody come up to me and say, God said that you should go, and if you want to get some more money, you should do blank, blank, blank. God ain't told you none of that. No, not Jesus Christ. He ain't tell you that. I know that because I know God. I know his character. So you don't have to be intimidated by anything if you know God's character.
Yeah, and then also you have to, like you just said about the privilege thing, right? Why are we going to get into it with them, right? Like you said, we're fortunate enough. I don't think people understand, especially being born in America, where most of us grow up as Christians. Sorry, something in my eye. Where most of us grow up as Christian, right? Do you not know a lot of these people are born into countries where the name Jesus can't even come up? The name Jesus is like taboo. You can't even say it. Oh man, my eye.
What up, Lonnie? Hey, Shamika, you caught us tonight.
Let me get my eyeball.
No, you're absolutely right. Being from a place that practices certain traditions, being from a place that
they're born in Islam, like people who are born in Muslim countries, the Bible is banned. So you got, 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds who never heard the name Jesus, and then they grew up to be adults, and they're like, Jesus is not God. But it's because they're born into a country where they're taught to never even open the Bible. You're not even allowed to touch it. It's banned in a lot of these Muslim countries. So we're fortunate enough to be born in a country where we're born into truth, basically. That's a privilege, actually. If you really think about it, it's a privilege to be born in a country of truth already. regardless of the stuff that we say may happen over here or happen over there. The truth of the matter is we're born into a country where we're born into truth, where some people are born into countries where they have to deny the truth because they're taught that the truth is the lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
And I
the
think
scary part. That's the scary part.
I think that we need to always try our best to be as vocal, and honestly, this, and Malik didn't say this, so this don't reflect him. This is just Tashay's thoughts. If it come out a little rough, if it come out just a little rough out your mouth, sometimes it's okay. Sometimes if you gotta get it out, and you a baby in Christ, you don't know, or sometimes you get a little emotional. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, baby. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, if you gotta say, hey, don't disrespect my God, like don't play with me. I'm not playing with you. If you gotta go there sometimes, I think that that's better than saying nothing, because
Exactly.
when people from other places, when people who have been indoctrinated with their practices, when you speak on their false belief system, they will really go there with you.
Yeah,
But
they'll
because
try to they
what
cutthroat. They cutthroat.
you say something crazy about Allah,
You say something about Muhammad. You say
yeah.
Muhammad ain't a real prophet. They'll try to come
Don't
see where you
you
at.
don't you say nothing about my prophet? Like, they don't play that. And all I'm saying is, if you are a holder of truth and they can be that passionate about their false ideology, then you're gonna have a little behind what you're talking about.
And
Not saying that you. I'm
you
just
know
saying.
that in you know that in the Quran it says that their Allah, their God, has two right hands.
Really?
Yes, it
I don't
says
study
that
that
for real.
stuff. I don't study that
It
stuff.
says that he has two right hands. So that's basically like it's like this. Both
But
his hands.
I thought that one of their scriptures says, like, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing, or something like that. So
Nah,
I thought
they confused over there. But
well,
I'm
this is all
telling
I'm saying. This is not about them. I'm just saying, in general, we're going to have to, like, when Jesus talks about being persecuted, and when Jesus talks about like Jesus even says in Revelation, like, the cowardice is not gonna make it. Y'all can't be scared to go against Alex O'Connor because he's smart and just give straight Bible. And when I say straight Bible, I'm not talking about verses. I'm talking about when you read what your heart knows is true. And
yeah.
sometimes that's simple. Sometimes
I,
I could have
I was literally just about to say that. I
I
think
could have sat at that table with him, and when he asked all them questions, I would have been looking at him like, what does it matter?
yeah,
What
because
does it matter?
the truth is you don't have to be intellectual to understand the truth, right? If the truth is the truth, it's just 2 + 2 = 4 every time, right? When
Mhm.
you start trying to say, well, now let's try to make 2 + 2 = 7, right? That's what he's trying to do. Alex is trying to get him and corner him and be like, see, you told me 2 + 2 = 4, but now I just got you to admit that it really doesn't equal 4. So therefore, it's not a real equation. And so because it's not a real equation, no, buddy. 2 + 2 = 4 every time. Every single time, 2 + 2 = 4. So you can try to spin it how you want, but we're gonna come back to the same solution. 4, 4, 4. And I think we get caught up in trying to be too smart. When we see people, we're like, I could have said this, and then pulled it over from here, and then pulled it up from this Bible, and then got this scripture, blah, 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 blah.
Stop
But the
talking
truth
about
is,
me.
but the truth is a lot of times what I've learned is the best way to debunk these people who think like this, like these atheists especially, right? Because every different group has different ways to debunk them, but
Mhm.
specifically we're talking about Alex O'Connor, so we're going to talk about the atheists, right? The best way to debunk these atheists is to flip their ideology and their logic on them, right? So when he's asking these questions, flip it and say, where did it say it didn't mean this? When he says, well, Mark says at 9 a.m., show me where it says that. You can't find it where it literally says 9 a.m. It doesn't actually say that. He gives you the hour because back then they didn't actually have time like the way we do. Like they didn't calculate 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. And, they didn't calculate it like that to where 1 a.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., right? They went based off of a system from from what they could see, right? So they would see morning, they would see midday, they would see evening, and they would see night. That's how they calculate